Yes, we're ready.
Well, it's you. We want to see it.
Lucy has one. Good. There you go. Okay, well, good morning again, everybody. Good morning again. And now our real reason why we're here is here, beyond just having the cake. And there's still a little happy birthday Social Security cake left for people, so we'll do that. I want to thank our president, the New Hampshire Alliance, Lucy Edwards, for getting us kicked off this morning and singing happy birthday. I've seen Charlie Balban, our former president of the New Hampshire Alliance, is here with us today too. And it's always a joy coming up and meeting our really great activists here. As Lucy mentioned, my name is Rich Fiesta. I'm the executive director of the Alliance, but the real reason we're here today is twofold. One is we earlier celebrated the 79th anniversary today of the signing of the Social Security Act and the security it has brought to millions of not only retirees, but widows and widowers and children through the last 79 years. And we're here to make sure our friend Jeanne Shaheen goes back to the Senate. So there's a great 80th birthday. And then at the end of this term, you're at the 85th birthday, and we'll be back beyond for that as well. Well, as Lucy mentioned, Social Security brings a lot of money to New Hampshire, and it's our money. It's the money we put in as workers and the money our employers put in as their employers into a privately run, government administered, but private money trust fund that brings, as she said, $4.1 billion into the state of New Hampshire in 2013. 6% of all the personal income, and Social Security money that comes in is spent. It's not put under mattresses, and I don't have to tell seniors on how every penny of that Social Security check is vital. It's vital to your own well-being, and it's vital to the economy of the state as well. Without it, unfortunately, nearly half of New Hampshire seniors would be at or near poverty, and it would be even worse for older New Hampshire women, because women are in and out of the workforce more in their working lives, for example, often at lower wages too. So Social Security and retirement is extremely important, and women, unfortunately for us men, live longer as well. So it's needed more in their lives as well. So Jeanne Shaheen has been with us on Social Security during her time in the Senate. She was with us in the Alliance during her time as governor, instituting some very good bringing down the cost of prescription drug programs here. We, in our early years of the Alliance, ran bus trips to Canada, and she met us there as well, because sadly Americans pay the highest prescription drug costs in the world. And a lot of that, unfortunately, the Social Security check sometimes has to go for that. She's working on that with a couple of pieces of great legislation as well. But we're here today to thank her, to celebrate Social Security, to thank her for voting to keep it strong, to thank her for voting against crazy ideas that would cap the budget, which means it would cap how much money of Social Security could go out to recipients. So these people that say they want to cut and cap the balance, the budget is a backdoor or a side door cut to Social Security. So we want to say thank you for standing up to that as well. And as I mentioned earlier, we're here for the 79th birthday. We want Jeanne back in the Senate for the 80th, so we can come back and have another piece of cake next year. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much to Rich, to Lucy, to Jane, to everyone who's here with the Alliance for your endorsement and for your support, not just in this election, but in the last election and the election before that. I very much appreciate your willingness to continue to stand with me and for all of your hard work to protect both Social Security and Medicare. And let me also just thank, I'm not going to get into recognizing all of the officials and the dignitaries who are here, because I would be recognizing half of the room, but I want you all to know how much I appreciate your being here, especially all of you elected officials for taking time out and of course, Mark McKenzie for being here. Thank you very much. You know, this is the anniversary, as Rich said so eloquently, of Social Security. In 1935, I don't think any of us, or FDR, could have projected what a difference Social Security would make in the lives of so many Americans. It has been the most successful program to keep people out of poverty in our history. And I think, and I have tried in the Senate to do everything I can to preserve and protect Social Security. I have fought plans, as Rich said, some of the plans that came out, the Republican plan to cut, cap, and balance, as they called it. You all remember that plan. That was not a good plan, and it was defeated. But I've also opposed the President's plan, which would have cut benefits under Social Security through something called chain CPI, which is a different way to look at COLAs under Social Security. I don't think that is a good way to address Social Security and making sure that we continue to have Social Security available for future generations. I also have opposed privatizing Social Security. Again, just imagine what would have happened if we had Social Security in the private markets in 2008 when we had our financial crisis. What would have happened? So I stand with the Alliance, and I stand with all of you in making sure that we preserve Social Security for future generations. I also think it's critical, as we look at ensuring that people have a secure retirement as we age, that we ensure people have access to health care. And that's what Medicare is all about. And again, I've opposed efforts to privatize Medicare, to make it into a voucher system. I don't think that's the way to address health care for seniors. And I'm proud that under the Affordable Care Act that we made some changes to Medicare that I think give people better access to health care. So now people are able to enjoy preventive care, things like mammograms and cancer screenings and other preventative care without any copays. And that's been a huge benefit to people in New Hampshire since 2010. But as we all know, one of the biggest costs, as Rich said, that we face as we age is the cost of prescription drugs. And this is a cost that really unfairly hits Americans because we pay on average $1,000 a year for prescription drug costs. We pay 40% more than the next highest country. And we need to continue to look at how we address these costs. Again, this is something that I've been working on for years, since I was governor, when we put in place a prescription drug program that saved seniors on average about 20 to 30%. And that worked for a while, but obviously this is something that we need to keep addressing. And under the George W. Bush administration, we passed Medicare Part D, which was a good start at addressing the cost of prescription drugs. Of course, that included that donut hole. And as you know, if you're in the donut hole, it's a real challenge for people. And again, one of the things that I'm proud of under the Affordable Care Act is that we began to close that donut hole. And we've had people in the last year, thousands of people in New Hampshire who have saved an average of about $840 on their prescription drug costs because we are closing the donut hole.
Yay.
Yes. Now, again, that's going to continue to happen under the Affordable Care Act. We're going to close a little bit more each year until it's finally, we've addressed all of the costs of prescription drugs. But I think there are more things that we can do. And one of the things that I have supported for a very long time, and Rich talked about the buses that went up to Canada over the last decade or so as we tried to call attention to how much people were paying for prescription drugs. And we still don't allow the reimportation of those safe FDA-approved drugs in Canada. We're paying twice as much for our prescription drugs as they are in Canada. So this is an idea whose time has come. There is bipartisan legislation that I'm proud to support in the Senate that would address this issue, that would allow for the reimportation of those safe drugs. We need to do this. This is a benefit that should be available to Americans, and for us here in New Hampshire in particular, where we see right over the border in Canada the difference that they're paying. It is time to act on this issue. It's one of the things that I'm committed to doing as I go back to the Senate in my second term.
Yes.
And really look forward to the opportunity to continue to work with all of you to address both preserving Social Security and Medicare, but also making sure that the benefits under both Medicare and Social Security work in the way that they're supposed to for all Americans as we age. So again, thank you very much, Rich. Thank you, Lucy, for the Alliance, and everybody needs to go out and work hard now because we've got a campaign coming up and I'm going to need your help. So thank you all.